This morning, our principal speaker is the Commanding General of the 1st Marine Division from Camp Pendleton, California. General Smith is a native of Plano, Texas, and he's a graduate of Texas A&M University. He's an infantry officer who's commanded the 1st Battalion, 5th Marines, the 8th Marine Regiment, and Marine Corps Forces Southern Command. He assumed his current role in June of 2017. Please welcome Major General Eric Smith.
Hey, good morning, everybody. This is a great day. This is a great day. If you've got an iPhone, if you've got a camera, you should take as many pictures as you can humanly take, because you're sitting in the presence of 5 Medal of Honor recipients and 3 veterans of the USS Arizona. That day for you will not come again, so you should take this opportunity. You hear a little bit about what Corporal Williams did. I'm going to elaborate just a little bit. I grew up as a Marine officer, starting as a candidate in 1986. Anytime you were struggling with anything that was hard, people said, come on, hustle up there, candidate. Let's move, Lieutenant. What do you think Woody Williams would have done? You think he would have stopped halfway up that hill? Hey, this isn't that hard. Look at what Woody Williams did. You heard that from the day you were born at Officer Candidate School. And I hear that still. And the Marines up at Camp Pendleton hear that still. They hear it out of my mouth and out of the mouths of everybody who has any semblance of Marine Corps history. You still hear about Woody Williams. So here's what happened. February 23rd, 1945, the same day that Joe Rosenthal took the iconic photo of the Marines raising the flag on Mount Suribachi, which ensured we'd have a Marine Corps for the next 500 years. 21st Marines under 3rd Marine Division was pinned down, unable to move forward, and as Marines unwilling to move back. An almost impenetrable line of pillboxes carved out of volcanic rock and concrete that had been constructed over months and months and months with fanatical, well-trained, ready-to-die Japanese soldiers inside those bunkers in front of them. And they said, we've got to do something here. The only weapon system we think that might have an effect here is a flamethrower. Corporal Williams had a little bit of experience with a flamethrower, and he knew what that meant. It meant you put gasoline on your back, and if you're struck, that's it. So he and 4 other Marines moved forward. And as you heard, 2 of those Marines never made it off that island, never finished that fight that day. And he went after the first pillbox. And he put the muzzle of that flamethrower through that pillbox against probably what was the Japanese Nambu machine gun firing 600-700 rounds a minute at him. And he eliminated that threat. And then he moved to another pillbox. And he jumped up on the roof of it. And he put the muzzle down an air shaft. And he eliminated that threat. And then infantrymen charged at him. And he charged right back. And he eliminated that threat. And then he went to the rear because his flamethrower was empty. Now that would have been enough for any normal person. Any superhuman would have stopped right there and people would have said, you know what? That's probably worthy of the Medal of Honor right there. But he picked up a second flamethrower. And he attacked again, knowing exactly what he was getting in for. And he emptied that flamethrower. And he did it again and again and again, until he had used 6 flamethrowers. And the pillbox was open. Because that pillbox line was open, the 21st Marines, 3rd Marine Division moved forward and secured Iwo Jima. And because of that, they secured an airfield. And because of that, we were able to put pressure on the Japanese home islands. And 6 months later, World War II ended. So that is how he fits into history. That's how he became an American icon, a legend in the Marine Corps. My whole job today was to honor, I was tasked by our Commandant to honor Chief Warrant Officer 4, Herschel Woody Williams. I am unable to complete that task alone. No one individual can possibly do enough, say enough to honor that man. So in a couple of minutes, I'm going to ask for your assistance on that. And possibly, if we are collective in our efforts, we might be able to demonstrate a small bit of our appreciation. So I just described what Corporal Williams did that day and how that affected you. Here's what that really means to you. If you drove in this morning unaccosted, freely, on the highways and the freeways here, you can thank that man sitting right there. If tomorrow morning you get up and you go to church or don't go to church, freely and safely, you can thank that man sitting right there. And if tomorrow night you go out to dinner, or if Monday morning you take your children to school and they board a school bus and off they go and they come home safely at the end of the day, you can thank that man right there. That is what he did for this country and for history. That is the importance that one individual can play when they're as determined and as dedicated, and when they have, as Woody Williams, and when they have a moral compass that points true north. There was an interview that Chief Warrant Officer 4 Williams did some number of years ago. And he said, you know, when I tried to enlist, some of you may not know at first, he didn't get permission from his mom because he wanted to do it at age 17. Second, the recruiter told him he was too short. Bad decision. Kind of ironic because somebody who was too short to get in the Marine Corps now is the giant on whose shoulders we stand. So when he finally got in, did the amazing things that he did on Iwo Jima, he was given this interview some years ago, and he said, you know, was a humble guy from West Virginia, pretty humble upbringings, went to school in a one-room schoolhouse. I didn't even know there was such a thing as a Pacific Ocean when I joined the Marine Corps. After World War II, he knew just about every bit of the Pacific Ocean. What's kind of an ironic turn of events is pretty soon, every bit of the Pacific Ocean is going to know that we have this thing called a Herschel Woody Williams, because they're going to see it out there every day. And the top secret thing is we actually have two of them. And they are both made out of steel. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the part where you come in. So I've described what this man did for you and for us. And so I'm going to read out his name, and I'm going to ask you to get on your feet and to be so loud that the noise complaints will pour in from as far north as Los Angeles. The master of ceremonies is going to tell you, hey, okay, we're off schedule, everybody sit down. I'm going to give you a special dispensation in a Marine Corps order that you can ignore him. And you should demonstrate how much you appreciate, how much you applaud, and how much you and I and all of us love Chief Warrant Officer 4 Herschel Woody Williams, United States Marine Corps, retired.
don't sit down, I'm going to leave.
So, okay, here's the MC Killjoy. I don't think I can top that. Woody, come on up, it's your turn.
Thank you again. Thank you again. Nobody ever pays any attention to me. I think one of the things we ought to change in America, very simple, they ought to have short podiums. Every podium I get behind, I'm hiding. It is very difficult to understand why things happen in our life as they do. In April 1945, a Marine captain took a little short lead pencil and began writing on a piece of paper, laboriously, and he wrote some of the details of a day in combat on that little island of Iwo Jima. He could not have known at that time the impact he was going to have on the life of the individual he was writing about. That individual, a country boy from the hills of West Virginia, who really never wanted to be in war. He had been taught during his youth and growing up time, you did not take lives. I assume he was trained the same way that this country boy was. But when he wrote those words, a recommendation to have that individual receive our nation's highest award that a grateful nation can bestow. He didn't know whether his recommendation would be approved or not. But as a result of his effort, we are here today. We are celebrating a miracle as a result of his pencil-written words. Captain Donald Beck must also be this day celebrating in heaven for his labor of love. He is here in spirit, but he's represented by one of his own, a son, Barry Beck. Would Barry Beck and his bride please stand so we can recognize you and celebrate your being here. Many of us have experienced miracles in our lives. Some are very life-changing, as experienced by many members of the armed forces. And many of them occur just because of other people. I've had a great number of miracles happen in my life. One, because my fellow Marines and Captain Beck took the time and effort and was willing to testify what took place on that little island on February the 23rd, 1945. Their witness and testimony enabled me to receive this which I wear around my neck. My life changed as a result of those testimonies. Just learned two of those Marines who sacrificed their life that day protecting mine. We now know who they were after all of these many years. And because of their witness, I've had the opportunities to, and yet never dreamed, by this country boy from West Virginia. Some of it seems so unreal. But this has now become a reality. I don't guess I really understood that, or maybe partially comprehended that, until I went aboard this magnificent ship yesterday and walked from the first deck to the top. The miracle that we are celebrating today is another one that could never happen in any place but in America. Receiving the Medal of Honor certainly is at the top of those many miracles. And although divine inspired, this ship now bears my name. The miracle also came about because of others. Very little in life can we possibly do without others. To all my friends from West Virginia, and we have a number of them who have come to be a part of this, but we have others from many places all around the country. Certainly I would not be who I am and have the opportunities that I have had without my family support. They are the foundation of whatever has taken place. Something that happened 72 years ago has now come to a reality. Naturally, Captain Beck could not have anticipated that anything like this would ever come about when he was struggling with his words. And I'll have to say they did change a number of them after he wrote them down. But he couldn't have known that we're going to be here enjoying this magnificent ceremony that you couldn't have any place but in this place that we all call home, America. May the crew who were here thank you for being willing to do your duty. And may they always be safe and continue to be proud of who they are and the country that they serve. because it is absolutely the greatest on earth.
Now it's over the christening platform. Travi and Tracy, would you please christen the ship?
For the United States of America, we christen thee, Herschel Woody Wilderness. May God bless this ship and all who sail in her.